fairly quickly, it became sort of unpleasant. There were days, you know, I've always maintained this, that there were days when it was great, or there were mornings when it was great, and we'd get on really well, and then it would descend into him calling me and stupid and lazy, and I danced like a vegetable. Onslaught of being told you're not good enough. But it was hurtful, yeah. You just, and it kind of, you just go, what did you just say? In your head you go, what, did you just call me a vegetable? You know, it's like, you just call me, do you know how offensive that word is? You know. The level of anxiety was pretty constant in the room, because if I got a step wrong, the fallout of that would last for a while, and there would be, you know, rolling of eyes, tutting, looking at me like, why are you? And there was one time when I was actually crying in the room, and there was a production assistant in the room with us, and he was going, why are you crying? Why the hell are you crying? What's the matter with you? You know, you shut down. Why do you shut down? And I'm like, because I'm getting it wrong, and this isn't helping me get it right by talking to me and calling me these names and saying that you've got the keys to a Ferrari, but I've got an old banger in front of me that I can't get into. And I tried so hard to make it work. I would get up every day and go, this is the day when it's going to be all right. And some days it was great, and that's what was so upsetting, was that he had the capacity to be nice. And he could be nice, but he chose to be misogynist and cruel and aggressive and a bully. He chose to do that. He actually said, you're a 51-year-old menopausal woman, and I'd still you. He denies that, but there are witnesses that corroborate that. Yeah. So, thank you. There was always somebody in the room filming it, and they'd be sitting there writing the log, and they'd also just be videoing it. And then when he'd leave, they'd come up to me and they'd go, I'm so sorry. I'm really sorry that you're having to go through this. And we'd say to him, it's not me, is it? Is it me? And then we go, no, it's not you. It's really not you. I'm so sorry that you're having to go through this. It's awful what he's doing to you. And I was like, it is, isn't it? I am trying my hardest. And they were like, you're brilliant. And then the It Takes Two crew would come in, or the people that would just film the rehearsal officially for Strictly would come in, and then I'd do the dance, and then, you know, Giovanni goes, it's just awful, you know, it wasn't great. And I'd be like, okay, sweating, just thinking, okay, well, I'm okay. And then they'd come up to me afterwards and go, it's so good, you're so good. Please don't think in any way that you're not good enough. You are. So it was a little bit like they kind of knew. They sort of knew. Prior to the reveal on the show, when you reveal who you're with, when that happened, because it's pre-recorded, when that happened, I had about between 10 and 15 messages from people going, I'm so sorry that he's your partner. They were from ex-contestants. They were from people who'd worked on the show before. Two or three of the people were ex-partners of him. I won't say their names because I don't want to kind of divulge their, you know, and keep their anonymity, but I have the messages of people saying, I'm so sorry, I'm really sorry that you're with him. We talked about it at length for about 45 minutes, and he just said, I'm so sorry that you're having to go through this. He said, you have my full support. I can't believe this. This is awful. You don't deserve it. And I want to kill him. You know, that's what he said. You know, he was very angry, just really angry that this has been allowed to happen. Because he also knew how much I loved the show. So, you know, he said, it's so unfair, Amanda, because I remember you would always be like, I want to be in that show. And he said, you were so good in it. And to have that taken away was just it was unfair. And he's been very supportive, yeah. By the final week, on the Thursday morning, I had a health scare. I woke up and I was in the shower and I found 2 lumps in my right breast. And I had had a mammogram just a couple of months before I'd started Strictly, and I had it all clear. And I found 2 lumps. Sorry. I found 2 lumps in my breast on the Thursday morning, and I went in to do the cha-cha-cha, which is what we were doing, and my mind wasn't on it, and he was just saying, I kept saying, should we do it again? He goes, yeah, see, whatever you want to do. And I'd be like, well, should we do it again? He said, there's no point teaching you this because it's not going in, you can't get it. We'll be lucky if we get through because this is useless. There's no technique. And I'd be trying to say, look, should we do it once more then? Whatever you want to do. And you sit there like this by the stereo, not looking at me. And I just went to the toilet and I came back out and said, I'm going to go to the hospital now because I found 2 lumps in my breast this morning and I'd rather get that sorted out because it's making me think about that I'm not concentrating on this. So I'm going to go. And then he was great. He said, well, let me know how it goes. And it was like, what? I don't understand. So I went, and that was when I made my decision to leave, when I found the lumps in my breast. And it was the catalyst that I'd been sort of waiting for, which is a terrible thing. Because if that is the thing that makes you, you find a lump in or 2 lumps in your breast, and you think, okay, good. You shouldn't think that. And that's what I was thinking. It was a healthier option than being in that room. It sounds so terrible. It sounds so terrible because, I work for breast cancer charities and I champion, but there was a part of me that was like, okay, I have to deal with this now. I'm going to deal with this now. And that gives me an excuse to leave. And it was the catalyst, not the excuse, the catalyst that I needed to leave, because I was thinking I need to concentrate on my health and my well-being. Once I found out I was all clear, and then I thought, I don't have to go back. I don't have to go and do that anymore. You're all constantly on the front foot of like, I don't know what he's going to do. Is he going to be nice to me? And then I'd get a step right, and then there would be, the opposite of an aggressive comment that he would himself off when he liked watching when the dance went well. He definitely said it to me in the room, yeah, definitely. And again, as a 52-year-old woman, you just go, okay, what do I do? What do I do? Seriously, what do I do with that? How do you want me to respond to that? What do you expect me to do with that? I'm not going to invite that behaviour, but you're still giving it to me. I'm angry with myself that I didn't walk out. I'm angry with myself that I didn't have the strength then to just go, you know what? I'm done. I'm done. Don't talk to me like that again. Don't speak to me like that again. And I'm regretful that I didn't. A witness watched and listened to some of the things that he had said, but where they were frightened to write it down in case it stopped them working at the BBC in the future. I think they were scared that if they wrote that down, then it would, it suddenly becomes concrete and real. And so they didn't write it down, yeah. I didn't mention the sexual stuff because I was so shocked, and I just thought if I, it was so shocking to me, and it's funny because when that was happening, I was so like, what? And then when I had to retell it to the complaints committee, the people who were, dealing with the complaint that I made, I talked about it and I couldn't stop crying when I talked about it, because I think after the fact, when when that happens, you're in a state of kind of what did you just say? Did you just say you'd f me if and because I got a step right, and then you kind of just block it out. You block that sort of behaviour out because the alternative is having to deal with that. It just doesn't feel safe and it doesn't feel healthy. It's not a healthy situation, and I'm having to go in there and pretend it is for the sake of it's fine. It's just the way he teaches. It's like, well, I don't agree with the way he teaches. But again, you don't want to make waves. That's the other thing. You don't want to look like you're a troublemaker. You don't want to look like you're a troublemaker. It's sad. It makes my heart heavy about how this has happened, because it was such a positive thing in my life before I went on it. And leading up to it, I was so excited, and meeting everybody and dancing with everybody was just wonderful. And then 80% of the time, it's morbid in there and horrible and toxic. There are welfare chaperones with every single person now, with every single couple, and I've spoken to a few of the professional dancers who are on it. We're still in touch and it's really lovely, and they've all said, you know, it's a really positive thing having that, because both the dancer and the contestant have somebody that they can go to if they're feeling in any way, you know, whatever they're feeling. There is a neutral person who can look after them and be in that room.